I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Kennedy.
And welcome back to Coog Cinema Reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing Mickey 17. I'm so excited.
I love that movie. I watched it and I just fell in love with it when I first saw it. I just relate to Mickey a lot.
Okay.
Like, he's really cool for me. Like,
so,
cool dude.
As maybe a sci-fi lover, I don't know if you are or not, would you say that Mickey 17 met your sci-fi expectations?
I would say it did in a way. Like, it started off very, relatable, showing Mickey's lifestyle, like what he lived through, what brought him to his spot, like his story, and how he was looking for a job and, trying to like find a purpose in life, and he didn't really know what to do. And I feel like when it comes to sci-fi, and whenever he like started getting into the position of working with like, the corpse where he had to, die and be brought to life multiple times, I feel like it definitely like really got into sci-fi once he got on the ship and they showed all of what was going on. I feel like it was just a very sci-fi movie from whenever he got onto the ship, and then near the end, whenever it's like, if it's spoilers, I'm sure everyone watched it, who's watching it, say, everybody already watched it. I would say near the end, it was very sci-fi whenever they had the little alien babies. Like, that was such a Star Wars atmosphere. I was super surprised by that. I was like, okay, it was like a plot, just like a switching scene, but it was very sci-fi near the end, I feel.
Okay.
Yeah.
I personally, the most sci-fi I really ever get is like Star Trek. I know that a lot of people don't like the Star Trek movies. I do. Definitely, I feel like Mickey 17 was more of like a modern, like more of an our time sci-fi, because things like Star Wars or Star Trek are more like future-ish, but this one definitely felt like a little bit closer to home. So I don't know if I would say it's lived up to my expectations. Yeah. Maybe not other people, but I'm reviewing it, not them.
That's true. That is true. I would say I feel like it did live up to it. Maybe there's more sci-fi movies I need to watch so I can like compare it like correctly. But from my experience, I feel like it really it was entertaining. It was definitely one of those movies where I was like, okay, this is funny. It has like all the like emotional scenes too as well. It has comedy scenes. And it has scenes that I feel like as people we could relate to.
Okay. Well, in terms of the like sci-fi bit and maybe some comedy bit, how did you feel about Robert Pattinson playing like both people?
I would say I felt he did a good job. Like, I know I watched his movie from Twilight. He was in that as well. I watched a little bit of it, but I just know seeing him. Is that about brothers in Twilight? Got it. I see. It's a new role. I never really seen him like do roles like that, like something new, and I felt he did good. Like, I know with Liv and Maddie, like seeing how they like made it work together. It was really cool, like seeing how they made it so realistic. Like, if he didn't know who Robert Pattinson was, you would think he had a twin. So I was like, okay, that's really cool. Like, I feel like he did a good job with the role. I've only watched few movies with Robert Pattinson, but I feel this one was a good one with him. Something that I was like, okay, I enjoyed that. That was a good one.
Yeah, I personally, I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember many things that Robert Pattinson was in, but definitely this felt very non-action-y, even though it was set as kind of an action movie. I kind of really did like Robert Pattinson being all like baby girl and stuff, and then his 18 coming out and being like kind of the opposite of who he was in the rest of the movie.
Like rebellious, like just like the tough version of him.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, like it felt kind of like Fight Club, like kind of a very alter ego, like this is who I would like to be.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And definitely I personally like when people are doubles in movies, even though
it shows their acting range, like how far they can go from like him using his softer side, like with Mickey 17 and Mickey 18 being like the tougher, like I guess like the more rebellious. Like, he tried to kill him at the like when he first discovered him, so it's kind of like showing a range of this is my side when I'm like really tough, and then this is my side when I'm soft. And it's like, I feel like movies like that really portrays an actor's skills, and I think it's really good when we start doing that more, like with movies, double roles.
And definitely like plot wise, I really enjoy when there's two of people, because it's kind of like something that normal people we will never experience. It's the ideal of of being able to look at yourself and be like, those are my flaws. That's super cool. I wish that was me. Because in this movie, that's exactly what Mickey does. And definitely he goes through like a journey of like, man, you know what? Maybe I should stand up for myself more. Everybody kind of does push me around. I wish I could be a little bit more like that guy. Maybe not entirely, but...
He had a whole physical embodiment of like another version of himself.
Yes.
So Bong Joon-ho was the director of Parasite. Did it change your expectations going into when you watched Mickey 17?
So, Parasite, when I watched it, was a couple years ago, probably during like COVID, when I was sitting with my family on the couch on like Apple TV or something. And honestly, I thought it was pretty good. I didn't realize that Bong Joon-ho directed the same movie, directed Mickey 17 until like after watching it. So I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't say that really affected it, but definitely thinking about my viewing experience afterwards, it was probably affected a little bit, because I was like, you know what? He makes a few insightful movies. And I was thinking a little bit deeper on the plot line, and I was like, huh.
Yeah, because I didn't even know he made the same movie, like Mickey 17 and Parasite were like made by the same director, and I could see like his artistic take on everything. It was very much, I know Parasite was about like the rich and poor, how different they are, like how we had like a poor family kind of sneak into a rich family's home and kind of like take their stuff and live there for a little bit. And I'm like, oh, that was kind of like very entertaining at the time when I watched it. And then Mickey 17 about like another poor individual like living in a different atmosphere and like learning about his life. And I was thinking like, oh.
Well, what do you think about the social commentary?
I would say I think about the social commentary. I would say it's definitely, it did reach into like, the norms of society whenever it comes to us as humans trying to like find our purpose in life, trying to find like our like career in life. At the beginning of the movie when Mickey was like looking for like what to do, like trying to find a job and having like failing many times just trying to find what he was doing, then coming across the like the paper where he found out about like, the disposable option, I was thinking like, oh, it was a good way of showing like, as humans, like we are all trying to strive and find something to do for ourselves, trying to find a career. And for him, all the things he was trying, it wasn't really working out, if I'm correct. But when he found that, it was kind of like, oh, okay, well, this is something that he can go for, and many people can relate to that. And when he went for it, he went to like I think it was if I'm connecting together, he went to it was a subway area, and he met this guy who was talking about like, oh, like this is a really good deal, like, kind of like boosting it for him. And I'm like, people can relate to like, being those scenarios that are around people who could relate to like, not really knowing like what to do with their like with their life. But I feel like Mickey 17 really kind of like put it into the perspective of like trying to find your goals, trying to find out what you need to do, and sometimes even in places that you never really thought, you could end up reaching goals, like meeting expectations you didn't really think about.
That's really interesting. I would say the opposite. I would say that Mickey made a lot of bad decisions, and definitely that put him in a really bad place. But he definitely met some really cool people along the way. But moving more towards like the political aspect of the movie, like what the movie was trying to say or like what it was trying to commentate on in like our real world, a point that really stood out to me was the dinner scene with Mark Ruffalo. I loved Mark Ruffalo in the movie. I thought he did really well as like your typical government official that loves to go to space and really wants to see the moon, to the moon and all. But I loved his arrogance. I thought it fit really well, and I loved the concept of a random person on Earth being like, you know what, I want to go to the moon, and just taking everybody to the moon.
Yeah, and I know Elon Musk kind of wanted to do that. He wanted to like go on a planet and make it inhabitable for people, I guess, who can afford it, or just anyone who just wants to go live on another planet and just experience like a whole new level of life. So that's like a pretty cool, kind of similar concept. And another thing I noticed about with like not the main character, but like I think it's like he was kind of like the president, I should know, but he was like the president of the entire thing, like the one who was like over everything. I think it was Michelangelo. What's his name? Michelangelo?
It was Marshall.
Marshall. He kind of reminded me of Donald Trump in a way. Like I feel like, I don't know if it was just me, like the way his tone of voice was, and I feel like that could be another societal thing or norm that they were putting in, where they were kind of like making fun of like Trump in the video, like in a movie.
Yeah, and
I was
definitely
definitely.
that's a very like Bong Joon-ho, like that's kind of his thing, like with the whole Parasite thing, and now with Mickey 17 making the social commentary about the rich ruling class. It's very his style, and definitely there are probably some takeaways that we could take from Mickey 17 and put it into our daily lives, of like, you know, maybe thinking a little bit harder about the decisions you make and putting your life into some rich person's hands. Maybe you should think twice about that. I don't know personally, but yeah, I think they handled it really well. Because the thing is,
They did.
you know, with some commentaries, they tend to be a little bit crass, but definitely it was to the point where it's like, yeah, that's a ridiculous idea, but it's kind of a realistic idea.
Yeah,
So
it kind of reminded me of like the military in a way, like signing yourself off for like a governmental thing, and you know, it's still good. You know, I feel like it's definitely like something that's definitely like, I mean, for me, since I'm like in the interest of like joining into the military, I feel like that's what made me like Mickey 17, because it kind of reminded me of that world. Like, you know, you put yourself up for something, to sign up to like sacrifice your life in a way for like an official, but it's definitely something where I was like, okay, I can see how it's like definitely connecting with like real life social norms and like social norms and like regular norms. Just definitely was that. So did the movie live up to your like expectations and your hype, or?
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really go into the movie with too many expectations, because the previews didn't really do it for me. I want to say I saw like the previews 5 different times on YouTube, and it didn't seem like my thing. Then I saw like the 6th one, and I was like, you know what? That's a cool concept, because I really enjoyed the idea of Expendables and the idea of the risk of having another person that looks exactly like me. Maybe doesn't act extremely like me, but I just thought it was so cool, because you don't see that many times. I know that you're tending to see it a little bit more now, but not so much the idea of the purpose is to copy people just to send them out to test things.
You know, I'm open to like new people's ideas and new movie ideas. So I feel like they didn't live up to my expectations. At the beginning it did, but near the end, I was thrown off with the, it's kind of like they threw the story off and just started focusing on the little alien baby things. So I was like a little confused, but I mean, I thought it was cool, but then I was like, wait, we went from Mickey 17 to clones, and then we switched over to like focusing on baby aliens, which was funny, but then it kind of like deferred from the story a little. I mean, I thought it was cool.
I loved that part. So, so with Mickey 17 and Mickey 18, at the end of the movie, their whole thing is like, when 18's about to like, you know, obliterate himself and Marshall and whatnot, he fears, because he's like, yeah, even though I'm a copy, I still want to live. And that kind of related back to like the little creepers of like, they just live here. They didn't decide that Marshall's island was gonna come land on them. They want to live in the same way that 18 and 17 want to live, because, you know, you didn't pick to get copied. You didn't pick to have number 1 sign you up to be an expendable the rest of your life. You're just here. So it's the parallel between what we as humans think, because we're the center of the universe, of course, and everything that we see is below us. Whereas we land on another planet and it's like, oh, that thing is so scary, that's probably going to kill me, we should kill them first. Whereas in the movie, it's like, they just live there. They're basically huge armadillos.
They are. When I first saw them, I was like, kind of creeped out in a way. They just looked like huge centipedes, armadillo centipede combinations, and I was like, oh, okay, that is new. Like, they really designed them in a very like interesting way, I would say. Interesting way.
Definitely, like, once I realized that this was going to be a really cool concept, I got really hyped to go see the movie. Definitely, I would say that it hit all my boxes, my sci-fi little boxes, and I really enjoyed the message of caring about the environment and the people around you and making decisions for yourself, having your own autonomy. I would say that it was very, very like, I don't know the word. I just thought it was cool. I was like, this is a cool movie. I saw it in theaters on my own, and my theater experience wasn't very hype. I think I was the only person in the entire theater, except for like maybe this old woman in the front row, but I enjoyed it. I'm the type of person that can go and see a movie on my own and I will still enjoy it to its completeness.
I go to a lot of movies on my own because, when a movie comes out and I want to see it, it's like, I just want to go see it. Like, if there's no one available to see it with, that's completely fine. Always good to do things on your own. Like I feel like that's like another little thing. Like, don't be afraid to do things on your own. So what would you say your overall rating is?
Personally, I tend to rate on the higher side, but I would say definitely like at least an 8.
Okay.
I felt that the political commentary was very relevant to where we are right now. I'm not usually a big fan of CGI, but I liked the little aliens. I thought they were cute. I liked Robert Pattinson in the movie. Mark Ruffalo was really good. Just overall, I think that they did really well with a lesser known title, especially for it being like an original movie rather than coming from a book or a remake. So I think they did really well.
Oh yeah, definitely. I would say my rating would be around the same amount, like I'll give them an 8.3. An 8.3 would be like my full final rating because I feel it was a really good movie. I think, due to me relating to like the character a lot, like I feel like my relation towards him and in general, like, discovering what you want to do with your life, taking a risk that could be like insane, because every time he would bring up the fact that he was doing like the expendable option, like die and then be recycled, everyone was kind of like shocked by it, like, oh, are you sure about that? They were asking like, do you really want to do it? Like, do you know what you're signing up for? And he was just so sure for it. And then him signing up for it and then going on this insane adventure of life, meeting someone, the love of his life, saving like the creeper alien babies, like that's just like kind of shows like, maybe taking the risk is something that you should just probably like consider doing. Like, you never know where it could bring you. And I feel like because of that, maybe I could even bring the rating up a little bit as I'm thinking about it, because it just shows like, on a deeper level, I guess, for some people who watch it who feel like they need to learn more about life and know what to do, maybe an 8.6 would be like my next final rating. Yeah, and I would think, that would be my rating for it, for sure.
Okay, well, you're a little copycat, and I think that if we keep talking about this, you're gonna keep raising your rating, so.
Yeah, I feel like the more I think about it, the more I think about the movie, it's like, I got it, like, I started liking things the more I like started really getting into it. But 8.6 would probably be like the final rating for now. Maybe it'll go up. But for now, it's 8.6. I do like it though.
This has been Coog Cinema Reviews with Mickey 17. I'm Chelsea.
This is Kennedy.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for watching.